Hey guys, Dr. Berg here. In this video, we're going to talk about why estrogen dominance after menopause. This is one of those burning questions that people have. I mean, think about it. The ovaries go into retirement. They stop working after age 52. So that would mean that your estrogen should go down, right? Why do a lot of women have estrogen dominance and are at risk for cancer and have all sorts of issues after menopause? Let's show you why. First, let's cover the symptoms of estrogen dominance. Anxiety, irritability, agitation, breast tenderness, weepy, depression, craving for chocolate, joint pain, acne, cystic acne, weight in the hips, the thighs, and the lower pooch in the stomach, low libido, fibroids, cancer, endometriosis. It takes estrogen to make cancer grow in the breast and the uterus, okay? Now, let's talk about some facts related to estrogen to put this together. Estrogen does drop after menopause, okay? So that's really what happens, but progesterone drops even more, giving the relative ratio of higher amounts of estrogen to progesterone. Progesterone is a hormone that opposes estrogen. It counters it. So if you drop progesterone too far down with no unopposed estrogen, it can appear to be higher and more damaging, okay? Now, adrenal glands are the backup to the ovaries. So during menopause, the adrenal glands will make the same hormones that the ovaries do. Okay, that's another little fact. And the adrenal glands are on top of the kidney. Progesterone feeds cortisol. Progesterone converts into cortisol. If the body needs more cortisol, that's the stress hormone from the adrenal, it will get some of the cortisol from progesterone. So here we have this situation where we have the adrenals are weak, okay, low cortisol. Your body is going to rob that little bit of progesterone that you have. What do you think is going to happen to estrogen then? It's already high. It's going to appear to be higher because it's going to be unopposed by the progesterone. So we're going to take that last little drop of progesterone we had and drop it even more to convert it to cortisol. So really, it's the adrenals, the weak adrenals behind this whole problem, okay? And it's forcing other parts of the body to be depleted because the adrenal considers the stress, countering stress, the adrenals, like the most important thing. So it will rob from this and take from this just to keep the adrenals strong, okay? So, basically, increased need for cortisol depletes progesterone. Okay, so you got that so far? Now let me show you some additional facts. Okay, so what do we know? We know that progesterone converts to cortisol. If there's a low adrenal and you need more cortisol, the body will make more from sucking more progesterone, thereby increasing the relative ratio of high estrogen, okay? Don't worry, it gets worse. Okay, so more facts. Your own fat makes estrogen. So the more fat you have, the more estrogen you're going to have because fat makes estrogen. And it takes it, robs it from the hips, and it doesn't rob the fat, it basically generates it from the fat, okay? And also estrogen makes fat, so it's kind of like a never-ending nightmare. Now, they used to use something called estrogen replacement therapy, and they don't use it anymore because they found it causes cancer. And they switched it to hormone replacement therapy, which they add a little bit of progesterone. So this was just estradiol, and then they added progesterone, and then an estrogen together. And then they found that has some side effects with cancer, and so they added Provera, which is a synthetic progesterone. Okay, so then some women take that, and then they decided to use Prempro, which is estrogen and synthetic progesterone together. But the problem, this is all synthetic, and that's what a lot of women do for hot flashes, vaginal dryness, night sweats. But they have to realize that there's some other natural things that you can do, and I'm going to put a link down below if you have low estrogen, because that's a whole other thing that we want to talk about later. We're talking about estrogen dominance. Okay, so now the estrogen is really three hormones. You have estradiol, estrone, and estriol, and I'm going to explain these two right here. So estrone is the type of estrogen that occurs after menopause, and it's made from androgens or testosterone. So basically, It's a little complex, but basically you can make estrogen from if you have too much androgens. So there's a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome that a lot of people have. And that's a situation where you have too much androgen. Now, how would a woman have too much androgen? Well, guess what causes androgen to spike? Insulin. So again, it's a little complex, but if you have an insulin problem, and I'll put some links below if you want to check that out, insulin resistance, you can get PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome from that. When men have too much androgen, whatever, it can convert to estrogen, and that's what causes the breast tissue in a male body, the prostate enlargement, the low libido. Okay, that's this right here, because there's an enzyme that converts androgen to estrogen, and it's called aromatase. And aromatase basically is always seen in people with breast cancer or even prostate cancer. It's higher, and that's because the source of that cancer is fed by estrogen made from this darn enzyme here, and it's converting the androgen to more estrogen. So you can see there's a lot of different places that estrogen is being produced, not just from the ovary, but from progesterone, from the environment, from synthetic medication, from your own androgen that's being converted. So estrone can cause erectile dysfunction, a lot of problems in men. Like men have prostate issues, right? What happens is that their estrogen increases as they get older and the testosterone goes down. So this whole idea that what's causing the prostate is high levels of DHT, which is a powerful form of testosterone, is not true, because they use DHT to fix prostate enlargement. It's really the estrogen that's messing up enlarging the prostate. So estrone is a known carcinogen. It causes cancer, and it converts to estradiol. Okay. All right. So now estriol. What's that? Estriol is the third type of estrogen, and that's like a waste product of estradiol. Okay. So it's basically there to help buffer estradiol, because if estradiol is too high, you'll really get cancer. And so it's there to balance and buffer it, because estriol is considered anti-cancer. So it protects you against the bad estrogen, so to speak. Okay. And then we have the hormones and animal products that you eat. If you don't eat organic or hormone-free, then you're getting those estrogens. Same thing with dairy. Xenoestrogens, that would be like in the environment, you have pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, all that stuff mimics estrogen. Okay? And I just want to make a note. I do not believe that it's the estrogen that your body makes that causes the cancer. I believe it's from other sources. So I don't think it's that your body's just making too much. There's something environmentally that's increasing, and that's really what's causing the cancer. That's just my opinion, by the way. The last thing I want to talk about is GMO, genetically modified foods. Right now, the big ones are soy, corn, and beets. Okay, all the beet sugar in the U.S. is basically genetically modified, and the soy and the corn. Try to buy food that doesn't have that in there. And plus, guess what they feed the animals? Corn and soy. So you're getting a lot of GMO, okay? Now, this is something that's not labeled in the grocery stores, and the problem is that when they make something GMO, it's modified in a way that it resists an herbicide, okay? A weed killer. So the farmers can basically spray more weed killer on the soy and corn and not kill the soy or corn, just kill everything else, okay? Has a lot of consequences. The problem is the chemical name is glyphosate. Glyphosate is fat soluble. It's not water soluble, so it gets stored in your body. Right now, there's certain studies, I'll put the links below, that indicate that GMO, the residue, can affect your endocrine system parts per trillion. Parts per trillion. If you took, let me just give you the magnitude on that. Let's just say you had 600 train trucks, okay, hooked together, filled with a liquid of water. And I took one drop of this glyphosate and I diluted it into 600 train trucks. That's the dilution that you would need to affect your own endocrine system. So it's very, very small amounts, and it's affecting everyone on a massive scale. The long-term studies are not done, and I think that's the most obvious thing that's creating a lot of estrogen, because not only is this very estrogenic, but the soy is also estrogenic. The chemicals in Roundup that are not even glyphosate are estrogenic and create a lot of problems. So that's a whole other video, but I'm just kind of showing you that there's a lot of things messing up and raising your level of estrogen. So now, the good news, let's show you what to do about it. Okay, we're to the solution. Hang in there, I know it's a long video. We want to go organic vegetable. We want to do hormone-free meats. And there's a thing called aromatase inhibitors. Now, they use this synthetically for cancer, okay, but we want to use the natural things, okay? So you have cruciferous vegetables. I personally use a concentrate because it's in a pill form and it has all the cruciferous, it's organic. The other thing is iodine. Iodine helps lower estrogen. I get it in sea kelp, okay? DIM is a concentrated cruciferous phytochemical, and you can get this from the health food store. Nettle root is a very powerful aromatase inhibitor as well. I like the herb nettle root. It's good for prostate issues. It's good to lower estrogen. It's good as an anti-inflammatory. Now, all those symptoms that I showed you about estrogen dominance, some of them have joint pain and anxiety. Those are mainly not necessarily from estrogen. It's from the imbalance of estrogen straining the adrenal, okay? It's really an adrenal symptom. Just a side note. Chase tree black cohosh is a good thing to take for this condition. Now, if it's really, really bad and you've tried everything, nothing's working, then at that point I would get progesterone cream. Okay, but that's pretty powerful. You might need not go that route right off the bat. And then cortisol support. Why? Because this is a product that I use, cortisol support. This basically goes deeper into the adrenals, and it's mainly for someone that has low cortisol, not high cortisol. So it will give the adrenals a chance to come up and not steal your progesterone. And I use that for hot flashes as well. But it's mainly to help support the adrenals during menopause as a backup for the ovaries. Okay? We covered a lot of information. You might have to watch this again. I put some links down below, but thank you so much for watching.